What's up, family? Hit subscribe and always check the description and the pinned comment down below. Quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor and this is not medical advice. Anything said is from my experience and for entertainment purposes only. Always check with your doctor and the laws of your country before adding anything into your regimen. Check out the new video. Alright guys, so that picture was day 4 of my Anavar cycle, and I believe I'm starting to look a little bit better, especially after just coming off of the rad, changing up the diet and doing everything properly. I really feel like, especially in that picture, the Anavar pumps are insane, but I really think I'm starting to come around. Now that picture was day 4 and it was after Mama's Day weekend and pigging out. I ate terrible, this weekend. And I haven't done that in a minute, and I'm not going to do it again, maybe Father's Day or something, but it's not going to be a whole weekend like it was this time. But anyways, feel like I'm looking alright, and, let's get this summer cut going. On to this video. My new Sarms Theory. Alright, let me just say this. I've always been one of shorter and more frequent cycles when it came to SARMs. I've always been around the 45-day mark, take a couple weeks off, maybe an over-the-counter PCT, and, hop back on. That's always been my theory. It's every email and question I get, that's always what I recommended to people, and I've never really had any problems with that. I've been able to, steer clear of the hard suppression and all sorts of stuff like that. But after doing this Rad 140 while being on TRT, I'm beginning to change my theory. I got a buddy running LGD right now, and he's making great gains, and he's super lean. I'll do a video on that when he's done with his cycle. I'm going to wait so I can get a complete before and after from him. But he's making great gains, and he's also taking a test base. So like I said, that was my theory, was keep it short. No test base was needed unless you were doing S23. When this bad boy came around is when you really started to hear about the test base. This is super suppressive, like steroidal suppressive. So yes, test base, preferably testosterone needed for S23. But besides that, I've always been, you don't need it. Keep the cycle shorter, don't let your body adapt and begin to suppress, trick your body, take a few weeks off, let it bounce right back, and then you can hop back on. The thing with SARMs is it's not a steroid. It doesn't suppress you quite as hard as a steroid will, meaning you can bounce back fairly quick. But after being on TRT for the first time and doing a SARM cycle, I'm beginning to change my theory. So my new theory, this is bro science, don't get it twisted, but always do a test base and let's go longer cycles. That's going to be my new theory. I got my buddy doing a 60-day. He's taking 10 milligrams of LGD. It's his first time taking anything like this. And he's only doing 100 milligrams of 4-andro. That's the test base I'm going to recommend. Even if you're going to do S23 at a lower dose, not super high, like 25, maybe 30 a day, 30 milligrams a day, split dose. S23 needs to be split. But I would probably do 300 milligrams at least of 4-andro, if not testosterone, preferably testosterone with S23. But for any other SARM, my new theory is let's push it to 8 to 10, possibly 12 weeks, and let's do the 4-andro with every cycle from now on. Now, with that being said, you're going to need a complete PCT, preferably Clomid. Typically for a steroid, you always hear Clomid and Novaldex will be your PCT. With SARMs, I don't think the estrogen is going to be that much of an issue. Clomid can help with that too, but it will really bring your boys back, really ramp up your testosterone production. So I'm going to say Clomid, about 50 milligrams. I'm going to wait till I do an experiment like this myself, or I have somebody else who's not on TRT do one to see if a full month of Clomid is needed. We can go off of bloods. But for right now, if you're not doing a mega dose, I think maybe 2 weeks, 15 days might be enough at 50 milligrams of Clomid after about an 8 to 10, possibly 12 week SARM cycle. Now, I only have him on 100 milligrams of 4-andro, and he's only taking 10 milligrams of LGD. If he was doing more, if he was doing 20 milligrams, I would tell him to do 200 to 300 of 4-andro, because the suppression is going to start to ramp up. So you want to, ramp up your test base, as well. So that's my new theory. Let's run a test base with everything. Any SARM, let's run a test base and let's push it longer. Instead of not doing a test base, just running the SARMs a long time without the test base, you can run into some real problems. You might get the gains, but you're gonna lose a lot of it. And when you're doing the Clomid, the biggest thing is to keep training and keep eating. You're gonna lose that drive, you're gonna lose that boost, but you have to mentally push through it. You have to know you're gonna lose it, and you just have to push through, and that's how you're gonna keep your gains. So I was always the shorter cycle. Try and skip the suppression, take a couple weeks off, and jump back on. And in doing so, you can actually stay anabolic a longer periods. Over a length of time. Doing it with the shorter cycle, you can stay more anabolic than taking a month or 6 weeks off, after a complete PCT. And that's another thing. After you do the Clomid, after a long cycle of my new theory, after you do the Clomid, you still have to take time off and let your body bounce back. Like, you got to take like 2 months off, and that's the problem with doing this. But if you can maximize your gains, know you're going to lose some, you might be able to keep more in the long run. Just because of staying anabolic that long, I believe you might be able to put actual tissue on, and hopefully it'll be easier to keep. So that's my new theory. Let's skip the shorter cycles and no test base. Let's just go long, test base every time. Let me know what you guys think. Keep it real.